What's up? I'm Logan Mills. This is our third video in our How to Catch Bass fishing series. This one is going to be on line and how to spool a reel. Be quick, simple, and easy. Let's get into it. But first I want to talk about line. You have three types of line: monofilament, fluorocarbon, and braid. I prefer fluorocarbon and monofilament, but fluorocarbon is probably my favorite. A few reasons: it sinks. Monofilament floats, so it's it's better when you're using like top waters, because your line floats to keep your line or your lure above the water easier. Like if you're throwing a frog or something. And also, this is harder to see. Fluorocarbon P-line. That's my favorite brand I like to use. The monofilament, no, not monofilament. Fluorocarbon is harder for the fish to see than monofilament or braid. And I think fluorocarbon has the perfect amount of stretch. Like what I mean by that is, like, if you take your line, you can't really see it, it's going to be hard, but you can take the line in your hands, and if you pull it, it stretches so much. Fluorocarbon stretches more than braid, but less than monofilament. And it's kind of in that middle, and I like it better because monofilament is nice. It works when you don't have fluorocarbon. Well, for me it works, but, you know, if I have the option, I'm going to choose fluorocarbon. And braid, I can't stand braid. I just don't like it. It has a purpose. It's good when you're fishing, heavy cover like lily pads, thick grass, stuff like that, because it helps from, not getting frayed, because it's basically just a bunch of fibers woven together really tight. The only thing with it, it doesn't stretch. It is stronger, but it has no stretch. It just pops. And a little bit of stretch, like fluorocarbon has, like I said, perfect amount. Monofilament has a little too much, and braid doesn't have any. But one good thing about braid is it doesn't fray as easily, so you can fish that thicker cover. Like monofilament and fluorocarbon can fray pretty easily, and if you get a big fish, your line could snap. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the rod and reel you saw in the other one. I'm going to put it on this. This is how you do it. It has this little metal piece, and it slides right in here, and you take this right here, and you twist it until it's tight, or it's not going to come off, but you don't want to break it. And how you know it's on the right is this piece, like your little handle, will be facing the opposite of the reel. Alright, so I'm going to take, I don't have any 10-pound line right now. Oh, another thing is, when you use line, if you run out, like, this one probably has 50 yards, because they have 200 yards on there, and I used, I think, probably about 150. So 50 yards isn't going to spool it completely. So what you can do is take this, and this. In another video, I'll get more in depth with it, and you kind of just tie them up together. Your leader line, and then the line you have on your spool. But like I said, that'll be another video. Take fluorocarbon, and you gotta put it through all the eyes, because no eye needs to take off from work. It's his job. And make sure it goes to the circle, not like these. When they're connected to the rod, they have like two like prongs that stick out, and there's a little hole from where the actual eye connects to the rod. You don't want to put it through this hole right here, because it's not gonna work. You'll probably break your eye off. Get it down. Put this on quick. And then what you're gonna do, this one doesn't have it, but if you have a reel that has like a cover here, you can pop the cover off and take the spool completely out, and then it's easier to tie. But this is an older one, it doesn't really have that. But one good thing it does have is this right here can pop up, and it makes it a little bit easier to tie on here, but it's still a little bit difficult. Now if your spool has holes in it, like some of the spools have little holes, don't put your line through the hole and tie it. What you want to do is It's a pain if you can't take your spool out. But, almost got it. Man. You take it, and then once you get your line, close this. So you got your line, it goes around. Like my line here is around the spool. Then you're going to take it, so you have enough line, and then you want to just tie it like you're tying a lure. I usually do it probably about 6 times, you know, just do a normal clinch knot, easy, twist it 6 times, 9 times, however many times you want to, you know, twist it. But this gets to be a pain, so I do about 6. And then once I get it, do the small one, or do the big hole at the bottom. Pull it, not all the way tight, because you still want to have this, the little hole. Pull it through that one, and then cinch it down so it's not, you want to make sure you have a tight knot, but you don't want it super big because it could catch your line as you cast and bird's nest and all that. So you don't want to do all that. So, knot here. Oh man, it was a bad one. Dang it. I have to redo this. You get to see how difficult this is. Spinning rods are a whole lot easier because, spinning rods are easier because their spools are right there rather than in the reel. Another thing is clippers. Like I said, don't use your teeth. You don't want to break your teeth. And in case it falls in the water, flotation or whatever, something, it floats. So if it falls in the water, they're not expensive, but it might save you, you know, $5 or something. It's better than nothing. Let's try to get it back through here. This is probably the hardest part. And once you get this, I'll show you, but a good thing to use is use a shoe. Because, you know, like stick your line in a shoe. Because if you just leave it on the ground and you try and spool it like that, your line is going to get all twisted up. And then it's going to be a pain when you go to cast, because your line's going to be all twisted, and it's just, for the first, you know, few times you go fishing, it's going to be a pain until the line untwists. So if you use the shoe, like I'll show you if I can ever get this thing tied. This thing is being a pain in the butt. This little part here. See how stinking hard this is without being able to take the spool out. This is a pain. Man, come on. Man, can't get this stinking thing. Oh, there we go. Oh. Another thing you could use when doing this is tweezers to grab the line. It would make it easier, but I didn't think about that. But that's another good thing you can use to help you, because as you can see, I'm kind of struggling here. Not the easiest thing to do. Like I said, clinch knot, but hopefully I tie it right this time. I plan on to. Or, I mean, you could tie any knot, but I just always use the clinch knot just because it's easy. And it's a strong knot, but it's not too big to a point where it will catch your line and whatnot. Because if you do get spooled, you want to have a strong knot because, you know, you want it to hold the fish if you do get spooled. But if you get spooled, you probably need to put some more line on your reel. Down. Mechanical. Spin. Almost. And man, it's turning out to be more difficult than I remembered. It's been a long time since I've spooled this reel. Okay, there we go. Got it on there. Yep. And then you'll have a little bit of a tag in, like you do when you tie your knot on your lure. And you just want to find it and, you know, just cut it off. I mean, it probably won't hurt anything, but I always cut it off. Just, you know, make sure. Just a little bit on there. And like I said, you need a shoe. Take your shoe, and then take the line, and, well, let me just open the shoe up. But the shoe should be big enough. Line. Take it like this, set it in there where it won't go anywhere, and you reel it like this. Not too fast, because you don't want it to come out of the shoe, but you want to get it where it's tight enough so your line is straight, so it's not all twisted up and a mess. And this is something I do just because it makes it easier, and it's a pain when your lines twist up, you're trying to cast, bird nest, wind, whatever it is. It just makes it so much easier. And there's, you know, tons of different brands out there. Basically, line is the same. Like, I like P-line. It is, you know, more expensive line. But you could go out there and buy any line. It's going to work the same. I mean, it's still going to work. It's better than nothing. But braid is just, if you're not fishing heavy cover, don't use braid. Oh my goodness. I've had so many problems with braid. It just is a pain in the butt. Man, this reel's taking a lot of line, and each reel takes a different amount of line. They usually take about, I think, probably around 150. That's probably where you'll get on line. And what you want to do is, like, when you're filling it up, like spinning rods have the top spool, like the top circle, then your spool, and then the rest of the reel. Don't put too much line on there, or it's just going to cause a mess. You have to put, there's usually lines on the spool that kind of show you where your line should be. I'll show you in a minute. I don't have enough line, this one, because, well, I've used this before. And that should be close to about it. Yep. Oh, no, don't fall. And that's all the line I have on there. And if you needed extra, like it, you know, just, you can tie it, you know, another line on here if you needed to, but that's, I only do that if I absolutely need it, because otherwise, you know, I don't trust my knot tying abilities with that. Like I was saying, it has these little lines. I don't know if you can see it. There's lines in the spool right here that kind of make it where you don't put too much on there, because if you put too much, it's gonna go over the spool and just be a big mess. So you gotta have the right amount. Another thing you can do, I don't have a lure with me right now, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my eye and I'm gonna just tie a simple, like the most simple knot I can possibly tie. Like, it's not even, like, you don't even have to, you know, it's gonna be one I'm just gonna pull out. I'm not even gonna break it. It's just so that you don't have this line. Like, if you're traveling somewhere and you don't want to put a lure on it, it's good to tie it on the eye like this, because you don't have to worry about your line being a mess, especially with 2-piece rods. Oh man, you take them apart, the line on it, it's a mess. And now I'm not gonna cut the tag in on this one, just because you know, this isn't something, it's not gonna stay on there very long. All I did is tie it on there, so now my line's tight, it's not gonna be everywhere else. And that's it. I wanna say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned.